Welcome to the Hairband Basement. I'm your host, Basement Brian. You might have seen me on some other video channels, Hair Metal Guru, Trevor's Crash Course Metal Show, the Rock Resurgence Radio Show. I mean, I've been on a few YouTube channels talking about the greatest genre of music, I think, in history. I mean, I love glam, hair, metal, whatever you want to call it. Maybe you've heard me or heard of my show on Station Head. Download the app. You can hear the deepest of tracks, the rarest of bands, and the little known songs from the biggest named artists from before, during, and after the decade of decadence. So you won't hear Pour Some Sugar on Me or Here I Go Again. But or you also maybe also see me posting stuff on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm at HB Basement. Then I get all that stuff out of the way. I decided to try to do a YouTube channel for reasons. Why not? See how it goes. So for my first episode, I decided to basically talk about albums that I think are 10 out of 10s. No skip trips, all killer, no filler, all bangers, no clangers. I am not skipping any songs in these albums. Definitely these albums are in my all-time favorites. Still listen to them this day. Still love them as I did back in the day when they came out. With my list, I'm going to put this caveat out there. I'm not going to put any big names there because there are some albums out there that are 10 out of 10s that are immensely popular. Everyone knows about them. I decided for my first episode, since my whole thing is about these deep tracks and talking about bands that never got the credit or the respect or the popularity that some of them really deserved, I decided to go with some rarer bands. So with that, let's look at the first one. These are not in any particular order. Also, I am not one of those collectors of CDs and cassettes and vinyl. All the stuff I own that's on either CD or cassette, I got because back in the day, that's how you got your music. There was no downloads in 1988. You wanted an album, you went out and bought it. So a lot of this stuff I've had probably over 30 years, well over 30 years. Some stuff I might have gotten more recently to replace cassettes because they wear out, they break, or my car doesn't have a cassette player in it or a CD player. So a lot of this stuff I got out of necessity to be able to hear these bands back at home. Well, my first one of my favorite, they're all my all-time favorite albums, but this one, immensely awesome. It is the debut from Badlands, a killer album. After Jakey Lee got booted from Ozzy's band, I mean, fucked is the better word for it because he really got no writing credit for the first album he did. He eventually got some for Ultimate Sin, but decided to put together an unbelievable band. This is the debut. I mean, his guitar work on this is awesome. Ray Gillen's voice, probably one of the best in the genre. And yes, I use the term hair metal loosely, so I'm counting this. Don't care what you think or feel. But this whole album is just great. Let me read some tracks off of this. The lead-off track, High Wire, amazing. Just an amazing song. Punches you right in the face. Jakey Lee starts off with a killer riff. And I've always said this, a lead-off track is the song that sets the tone for the rest of the album, and that song kicks ass, and this album in its entirety kicks ass. Some of my other favorite ones, I mean, the one single, Dreams in the Dark, great song. I think it's the weakest one on the album, but it's still good. My personal favorite, Hard Driver, great song. Rumbling Train, Streets Cry Freedom, Ball and Chain. I mean, this whole album, like I said, 10 out of 10, unbelievable. You can't find this anywhere, though, because Ray, let's just say, did some things that weren't exactly the most moral, you can say. Spread AIDS. But it's hard to find this now. I originally got this on cassette back in the day. I remember getting it with, I got the Badlands debut and Bullet Boys debut. I got that on CD. And I remember talking to the guy about the two albums, and he couldn't say enough about Bullet Boys. I remember him saying nothing about Badlands. I don't know how. You got some pretty big players in it. Unbelievable album. And yeah, just never got the respect that it needed. I got this later. Yeah, about 20 years ago or so. I was like, I got to get a copy of this on CD because like the cassette is all busted up and worn out like cassettes do. So this one is from Atlantic, and hold on, I almost dropped the fucking disc. But yeah, I mean, there ain't much going on the inside, but I mean, just killer shit, just killer shit. And the rhythm section, goddamn. Greg Chason on bass and Eric Singer eventually played with Kiss. Good stuff. If you haven't, if you don't own this, try and find a copy. You probably pay a pretty penny, but I mean, I'm sure YouTube's got it somewhere. You could probably hear it other places, but yeah, an unbelievable album. That's my first one. Again, no particular order. The next one, another album I love. Actually, it celebrates its 35th anniversary as the day I'm recording this. And I remember seeing the title track on Headbangers Ball and being like, I gotta get this album in my life. And I'm talking about the debut by Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room. An amazing album. These guys were ahead of their time. They did not sound like other bands around in 1990. They didn't have the same look, and definitely the lyrical content was not the same. If you listen to their lyrics, a lot of it is about how shitty and shady the underside of the LA club scene really was. And I'm sure it was pretty fucking shitty. Like, I mean, there's no way it was all just glamorous. Oh, we're doing cocaine with gorgeous girls backstage and with our pink guitars and our spandex. Now, these guys were most likely doing heroin behind the dumpster of the club. That's the kind of shit they sing about almost. Um, let's go through some tracks here. Holy shit. The title track, Blackout in the Red Room, is fucking fantastic. You got She's an Angel. That song should have been huge. Fantastic song. Tranquilizer. That's not on this one. Wait a minute. I think I fucked that up. No, what's the other one? If I can see what the fuck shit. God damn, I can't see what I'm looking. All right, this is all reflecting weird. But there, I'll edit this shit out, maybe. Tumbleweed, that's what I was thinking of. Tranquilizer's on goddamn Wasted America. One thing I will say about this, the one song, Rock Queen, yeah, the lyrics are a little like, we all know Rock Queen, 13, Buxom Blonde, Bad Dream, Let Me Touch Your Cookies. I'm going to say this. There's a lot of bands, another band I'll talk about had a song almost similar that sang about, let's say, girls of a way too young age. And people say, well, it was the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that shit went on. I'm not going to say it isn't. I'm not going to say it's good because it did. It's fucked up. It's weird. Come on, what are you doing? I think with these guys, though, they weren't glorifying it and making it seem like, oh, this wonderful girl, yeah, she's young, but we're in love. Nah, look, first of all. I think it was more like, yeah, it's pretty shitty here. And a runaway teen may be taken advantage of by pieces of shit, and this is what's going on. So I kind of looked at it differently, though I'm not singing that out loud in the car with the windows down as I pass the school. I'm not doing that. I'm just not going to do that. But again, great album. I thought these guys were ahead of their time. This is fantastic music right here. I would definitely recommend it. Again, 10 out of 10. Perfect album for me. The next one, this one, again, another one that should have been big. It is the debut from Blue Murder. An unreal fucking album. So goddamn good. And I'll admit, I didn't get into this that much when I first got it. I bought this without hearing any of the songs because I was a huge Whitesnake fan. Saw Still the Night on Headbangers Ball, got the self-titled album, and loved it. Bought all the back albums for Whitesnake. I was a huge Whitesnake fan in high school. And then when Coverdale, being David Coverdale, decided to boot everyone out of the band that made that album, John Sykes, a fantastic guitarist, decided to make his own band, and this is what we came up with. And this album fucking smokes. What a great album. I mean, you got Ride is a great tune. I'll get to the second song in a second because of the content. Jelly Roll should have been a big hit. That should have been a lead-off single. Instead, they went with, oh God, they went with Valley of the Kings, which I think is a good song, but an 8-minute song as your first single? Who's sticking around for that? That's ridiculous. Terrible choice. Some of my favorites, Black-Hearted Woman, great tune to close out the album. That could have been on the Whitesnake album. It sounds just like Whitesnake. Um, Billy's a fantastic song. My favorite off this album definitely is Ptolemy. That riff is so goddamn heavy and it's in your face and it's so good. The one song I'm gonna talk about real briefly because the lyrics, I don't know. Again, not singing with the car in the car with the window was rolled down in front of the school, and Tony Franklin was actually in an interview, or maybe he was on his ex YouTube channel and talking about the song that shall never be named. That's what he called it. And it's "Sex Child." Why? Come on. The music's great. The lyrics, I'll still put it on, but again, I'm not singing it out loud. It's just too why? Like what? Why? How come no one in the studio or in the band or the manager or someone with these bands would be like, maybe you shouldn't do that one. Let's change the lyrics on that. Something. Anybody. Someone had to say something. But and on this album, for some reason, they went big with the pirate motif on this. They really went all out. And I mean, you see some. I mean, John Sykes is dressed like Captain fucking Hook there. And if you see them play live or on shows, like Tony Franklin doesn't have shoes on. Like he needs to be barefoot to climb rigging on a pirate ship. I don't understand it. But another thing with this album and why I love it so much is because of Tony Franklin's playing. This album was the first time I ever really heard and noticed a fretless bass. And at the time, I didn't play. You can see here, I play now. I've been playing for, let's just say, a long time. I'm not going to get my age into it. But yeah, this album inspired me to buy 2 fretless basses. I got a 4-string and a 5-string fretless, and this is why. But yeah, all the songs here, fucking fantastic. This thing should have been big. And even David Coverdale was a little upset. Not David Coverdale, I think his asshole kicked everyone out. But John Sykes was upset that this thing didn't go big. I think it sold like 400,000 copies. It definitely deserved more than that. This is an unbelievable album. Should have been bigger. R.I.P. John Sykes. He died a few weeks ago. Such a loss to music. The guy was a phenomenal guitar player. Definitely go get that if you don't own it already. This next one, again, one of my favorites, 10 out of 10, all killer, no filler. This one is straight from our 51st state, Canada. It is Doin' the Nasty by Slik Toxik. I gotta angle this so the fucking glare isn't there. What is the glare? Jesus Christ. Back of the wall's getting on there. But fantastic album. Great sleaze album. Every song is goddamn good. Hell of a Time was the first single off this one. It didn't do great. I remember seeing a Headbangers Ball. Got the album because of it. Let's get a look on the inside here. Just, oh my God. She's flying out of here. What the hell? It's just fantastic stuff. I can't tell if you can see it or not. But great album. These guys didn't, I mean, they should have been big too. And in 92, Sleaze was becoming pretty popular-ish. I mean, popular as in people actually noticing it. But songs like A Big Fucking Deal to lead it off. Sweet Asylum's a great song. Marionette is kick-ass. Cheap Nicotine might be my favorite. And the ballads, By the Fireside and White Lies, Black Truth, if I get it right. Those things should have been huge. They could have been big. I don't understand. Music is just fucked that way. I don't understand how that they weren't bigger. But that's a fantastic album. If you don't have it, get a copy. I believe it is on Spotify and Apple Music, so you can definitely go out there, check it out. Great stuff. All right, my last CD here. It's from a band, one of my favorites. These guys should have been big. You've seen me talk about these guys. You've seen me on Hair Metal Guru's channel. Or Rock. I don't know, I brought up on Rock Resurgence Radio. I've talked about them numerous times, played them on my show. One of my favorites, and it is the second album by Lillian Axe, Love and War. Unbelievable stuff right here. Love this band. Stephen Blaze, an amazing songwriter, an unbelievable guitarist where you never hear him on any list. of great guitarists from this genre, which I find mind-blowing because the guy is so talented. I mean, you got your big names, George Lynch, John Sykes, like I said before. Red Beach comes up a lot. Warren DeMartini's another one that comes up. So there's guys that usually make it, but for some reason, Steve Blades has never mentioned the guy can fucking play. Ron Taylor, the vocalist, one of my favorite voices in all the genre. I'd say that too about Jizzy, when I goes by Jizzo. Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate, but his voice, fantastic. I mean, some of the highlights of this one, the first song, All's Fair in Love and War, great. Diane is a good one. Down on You, The World Stopped Turning is a great song. Their cover of My Number from the band Girl is good. They released only one song and made a video for it, and that was Show a Little Love. That song should have been huge. It has hit written all over it. Unbelievable. There's no real ballad on this, though, that I would consider, that should have been big. And Letters in the Rain that closes out the album, and Fool's Paradise is good. Every song is great. A great goddamn album. Definitely check these guys out. Love this band. I will die on the hill preaching these guys. All their first 4 albums are fantastic. Definitely check them out. Yeah, the cover's not too bad either. So that's 5 10 out of 10 albums. My first video. Hope you like it. Check that stuff out. I mean, I never had to do this before. Like and subscribe. I've never had to say that before in my life. Let me go through all my plugs and stuff. You can find me on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. Now it's X. HB Basement. I'm always talking music there. I post stuff like Kick-Ass Album of the Week. Some of these CDs I've been posting up recently, pictures of it, a little story of how I got them and how I feel about them. Definitely check that out. You can find me on Stationhead. Download the app. I have a show every Friday night where I'm playing deep tracks from this genre of music. So if you're sick of hearing the same old goddamn songs you've heard a million times since the late 80s, definitely download the app. Check it out. Every Friday night I'm playing some deep tracks from these bands. If you miss it Friday night, I record them. Go to the app. You can hear all my old shows right there. And until next time, if there's going to be a next time, we'll see how it goes. Keep your hair high and your metal horns even higher.
Brian, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know.